What do we do here?
I don't know.
You want to come do the tour?
Yeah, sure.
All right, welcome to, this is Erik Intrevado's cribs. Uh, this is the entire space. Come in, here's the studio. I prioritized gadgets over a proper living situation, so here we are. And yeah, this is where I do everything. This is where I do all the planning for the shows and stuff. I do the music here. I work from home, so I'm literally trapped here 16 to 18 hours a day or something. It's really bad. I'm literally starting to look like this over time.
Do you like get out at all, or?
I used to go on the bike a lot, but now that I started driving, I'm basically 2 weeks away from being paralyzed, I think.
Why don't you tell me about the show tonight?
Oh man, we're doing Burgundy Lion. Uh, you know, second week in a row. We had several cancellations in a row, which sucks. But I get it. People love hockey. People hate comedy. I understand. And they're super nice to us at the Burgundy Lion. They really fill up that place when they got like the hockey. Like they even got the back room filled out and stuff. So they just let us know, like, book the shows, but if we have to cancel, we have to cancel. I should have done a better job of keeping track of the schedule. That's what I'm doing right now for the next series with the Hurricanes. So I got all the dates here, and I'm just making sure none of them conflict. And guess what? They do. So next week we got to cancel the Burgundy Lion. That sucks, but the Peel Pub will officially start on the 28th next week. So now here I'm just updating the poster in Photoshop. Look at that. 21st. 28th. 28th.
That's all it takes, huh?
Yeah, that's all it takes. It was going to be a good show. Yeah.
How do you feel about the Montreal Canadiens?
I used to love them as a kid. Like, a 93 team was amazing. You know, I used to love Patrick Waugh. I was really into goalies. I was really into that team. Then he left. And then the team kind of started to fall off the map. And then people started getting excited about them again in the 2000s, 2010s. But I don't care. The real issue is that I'm a Fairweather fan. I'll follow them during the playoffs, but the minute they lose, I turn a blind eye to them. So I know I'll get killed for this, but I just don't like dealing with it anymore. The 2021 was when they made it to the finals. I followed that all the way to the end, and it was just like, what a way to not climax, you know? Like, fuck that. So now, because of comedy, because of the conflict of interest, I'm anti-hockey.
Has it affected, like, I know you said you put a lot of money into like ads and stuff.
Not a lot of money, but enough to make it feel stupid. Like, oh shit, I should have thought about that better, you know? So, you know, there's the show makes a marginal amount of money, but most of it goes back into just getting next week's audience. And you know, we bought some new equipment for the Peel Pub. We got a nice spotlight that we're going to use. It's not that nice. It's still just a spotlight from Amazon, but yeah, just kind of trying to breathe some new stuff to make the shows a little bit tighter. I want to get some neon signs eventually, but I want to make sure the show is surviving before I do that.
How do you feel about like the return of Peel Pub and
I mean, it's great. What a great story. You know, you start this show at the Peel Pub. I started the show at the Peel Pub because of what was it? I was talking to Sonia once, and I was like really just getting way too analytical about such and such. So, you know, you just have to start the show, you know. And she was right. I just had to start the show and kind of take it from there. And it was just a great opportunity because my sisters were the ones working there. So I asked them if I could like get a night there, and they were basically running the place by the time that place fell apart. Like the owner was checked out. My sisters were just kind of running it the best they could so that they could make some tip money. So we brought the show in. It started kind of growing, and by the time it was really starting to feel like, wow, maybe we started something, that's when they went out of business overnight. And that was crazy.
You had all your shit locked in there, right?
Yeah, that was crazy. Like I had all my gear there, but what ended up happening was I messaged them and they didn't answer me. And then I forget his name now, Zach, the one that goes to third floor all the time. He knew a guy who like does that kind of legal stuff, like estates collections or something. And he gave me all the information for the forms that I would have to fill to trigger a necessary response from those people. The minute I filled the form, they called me the next day, basically. And it was
so you
like,
send them the form?
Yeah, and then I went and got my equipment, and then they thought some of the other equipment was mine as well, but it wasn't. And since I'm such an honest guy, I was like, no, that ain't mine. But it was mostly because it was crap. If it was like, oh, you forgot your Porsche, I'd be like, oh yeah, I did forget my Porsche.
Well, I heard that mic that you had was the Porsche of microphones.
Yeah, SM58, man. Don't get, if you're producing a show, don't get anything other than an SM58. Like, people want to get like a shitty Audio Technica with the switch on it. Don't. Just get an SM58 from Shure. That's all you need.
I'm trying to laugh and talk less from behind the camera as much. People told me from the last one that I shouldn't be doing that. So if I'm not laughing, don't worry. I'm sure it's still funny.
I love how you have to reassure me that I'm not bombing in my own apartment. Like, don't worry, the jokes they sound like they're not landing, but they are. I'm pretty sure. I'm used to jokes not landing, by the way. So.
Well, how long has it been for you in comedy?
It'll be June 12th. It'll be 3 years.
Wow.
I honestly can't believe it's been 3 years already. Like, best years of my life. Sadly, it has. Which is really just awful when you think about it.
How do you feel? Like, do you feel as if there's been a lot of improvement and change? And
yeah, I mean, first year was definitely one way. Second year there was like a bit of momentum, but it was definitely like doing the shows. By hosting, you get a little bit more confident and comfortable with just off the cuff responses to things, and I felt that really helped a lot. Like, I was really locked in. When people get to know me, or in general, when someone gets to know you, they kind of change their impression of you. But a lot of people have a certain impression of you when they don't really understand you. I even said, remember, to you, I would say that I'm only funny off stage.
yeah, Street Eric.
Yeah, Street Eric, right? So Street Eric knows what he's doing, but the minute you go on stage, you're trying to somehow conceal Street Eric and be this other thing you're presenting. It's like trying to take a McDonald's thing that is perfectly fine to eat, and you're trying to turn it into some gourmet bullshit, and everyone's just like, what do you, just give me the cheeseburger.
Be Street Eric.
Just be Street Eric. So I'm trying to do that more. I think I'm still not quite there, but it's just so much better in the third year. Like, and it makes sense. You look at some people who are good right off the beginning, and then you wonder how they do, but those people often then just sort of, the trajectory goes downward after that. So it's kind of cool to have this kind of arc, and to just know that it's about the work putting into it. What else? To business now.
I know it is to business. I don't know. What made you want to start doing comedy?
Oh man. So like, as you can see, like, I spent a lot of time doing this, right? Like, I'm a computer nerd, I'm a gamer, I make music, I collect synths and guitar pedals and stuff like that, I collect records. I spent a lot of time doing hobbies that kept me to myself. I'm not antisocial, but I am great at being alone, and I love objects, like, I love things. People are interesting, but they're very temperamental. Objects, as long as you keep the humidity right, you're pretty much golden,
But why it's so fucking hot in here?
No, actually, it's a big problem. It's so fucking hot in here. I just installed the air conditioner today. But so what ended up happening was I was making a lot of music, but I was really happy just making the music for myself. And I realized that that's weird, first of all, to listen to your own music, right? Like, but I was perfectly satisfied with that, and over time I wanted to explore like an art form that would force me to share it with other people. But the other thing was to exist again. So like, it was like a perfect storm. You had the pandemic, you had everything that happened after that, and working from home permanently. All of this led to this idea that, oh yeah, like, maybe I need to see people, maybe I need to be in a social, because I used to throw raves back in the day with some friends. And we used to party a lot.
You used to throw raves?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Not a lot, but I used to go to a lot of like underground raves, and we used to all hang out and just do that kind of thing, And that was a community thing, I had a particular friend. We'd go to his house, and there'd always be people over there and stuff. So that was my portal to people after university, And then all that died. I was happy doing my hobbies. So then I got into comedy because I've been told I'm funny, and those people are liars. And I decided to try and work that out, and it was kind of a series of events. There were some romantic things that happened that led to this. Essentially, I'll gloss that over because that's cringe, but it led to me watching comedy shows like a sad loser, like just alone going to shows, and then through chance made friends with this person that led to me joining a group, like a meetup group of people who go to comedy shows. and they never went to a comedy show once. I met them at like a pub once, and I was talking to them, and this guy was like, "Oh man, you're funny. You know, you should do comedy." I was like, "You know what? I should do comedy." And he's like, "I'm gonna do it too." I was like, "Okay, we're gonna start writing." I went home and started writing that night, and I never saw him again. He just disappeared. Like never saw him again. And then I was doing my tour, going around the shows. Sid was starting to call me by name when I'd show up at shows, just as a watcher. And then I went to a McGibbon show where Ben was hosting. He did some crowd work on me, and then I approached him after because there was a bit of funny banter, and he gave me a spot. And then I spent 2 months writing, and I remember I asked him for advice. He's like, "You're overthinking it, man." It's like low stakes, he said. But everyone who gets into it thinks it's like such a big deal, you know? And I thought that was very helpful to take myself less seriously. And then I did my first mic there. CJ was there. And I got the classic, "Oh, that was pretty good for your first time." Everyone gets that, right? And then he told me about Hurley's. And then from then I just rewired my brain and said, "Okay, this is what you have to do. You have to go to all the places all the time." And then I did that for the first year and a half. Now I'm a producer. And it's so funny. It doesn't get to my head at all. It feels very silly. But like sometimes I get messages from people asking for spots, you know, and you look at the video and you're just like, "Oh, it's awful."
They send you tapes?
I've been sent tapes. And then I'm just like, and then I'll give people spots still because I believe in like giving people chances, you know. But that door is starting to like, that door is ajar, but it's like I see why people didn't want me on their shows. You know what I mean? Like I get it. But I still actually like the surprises that come with just bringing in people you don't know. It's a lot of fun.
Do you find that's the case with like the open mic at Burgundy Lion?
No, actually, the open mic at Burgundy Lion, I feel it's mostly a fair amount of our regulars. And every once in a while you get one, but because the open mic dies after the regular show so quickly, I've actually been trying to always give at least 1 or 2 people I don't know chances in the early show, because it's the only way to get them an audience. The open mic is really tough. And
there's some real lunatics that come through there. I think of one in particular.
Oh yes. We won't divulge.
Oh, I mean, we could talk about it. I'll cut it out.
He freaks me out too, but he seems like a sweet boy. But that's how you get stabbed.
Yeah, it's always the ones you least expect.
Yeah, I think you should keep that in, but just bleep the name out to add some,
sure.
You know, that's how you get stabbed. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
But
you're giving me fucking producer notes right now. That's funny. Leave it in.
Yeah. So there's that, and then there's some people who are just like I know I wasn't good, but I know I wasn't dog shit when I started. I know I knew how to write jokes properly. That my problem was primarily not being able to handle the senses of being center of attention in those moments and not commanding it. So trying to get better at that, you know. And I am getting better at that, much better, but there's still a lot of work to be done. And then I think there's just some people who just show, they do the same bit over and over. It's never worked once. And you're just kind of like, but you want to keep letting them do it because you never know.
Do you worry, like, I don't know, do you think about the people who, I find that there's a lot of people who labor under delusions when it comes to comedy, and they just keep doing it, and they're extremely delusional.
So the delusions is true, but it depends on how you're measuring reasons for, like, someone can have a dream. Like, I remember when I was making music with my friends, we had our band, and we're like, "Oh, we're gonna do it," and I was delusional. And sometimes you just need that delusional drive to keep you invested in what is ultimately a socialization conduit, right? Like, the comedy, like, I was... You know, I had my time. I used to rave, I used to do things, I used to do art shows and stuff like that, and I had friends, believe it or not. And then that all kind of dissipated over time. And then I was able to completely, like, I would bump into nobody in Montreal. And then I did this comedy thing, and now it's like I actually have to be careful, because I might bump into people and have to say hello to them, you know? So it's like, I'm actually in my, like, Curb Your Enthusiasm era now, where it's like, I've got what I wanted, and now I'm very unhappy about some of the repercussions of that, because there is accountability, there is like being nice to people and kind, because that's the only way you get stuff in return. And I feel like the people who are delusional, some of them subvertly understand that the chasing the dragon that they're never going to get is fine, but they have to remain with the delusion because that's how you stay committed to being a comedian, right? And the story of the comedian classically is about toiling for long periods of time with no success, right?
Well, they say it like takes 10 years before you see any sort of
Yeah,
success.
I mean, people always refer to Louis C.K. as that for that example, but like he was still doing stuff. He was still on Dana Carvey's show in the '90s. He was still in the writers' room.
Well, he's a touring comic
He
too.
was, yeah. So it took him a long time to get to that household name. But I think anyone who thinks they're going to get there is delusional for sure. Like, I think no one in particular in Montreal can get on the map alone. And historically, if you look at famous comedians from Montreal, the list is like a stretch, in my opinion. You know, William Shatner, that's not a comedian, right? Like, that's William Shatner. It's a big difference. So I think what really makes us unique is the scene itself is just so different from the standard LA or New York scene. We got this weird hot ass summer and then cold ass winter vibe going on, and that affects like the emotions and the nature of the shows and the comedians. And I think Montreal is just a really unique comedy city. It's surprisingly diverse, despite what some people might think. I think there are a range of voices and faces in the scene, and I think it is very interesting. And Montreal itself is a very interesting city, right? Like it's an education town, it's a port city. It's got everything to make for a good entertainment hub. You know, there is film here. You know.
You were born and raised, right?
I was, yeah.
Well,
Right in this room. No. I've been here almost 20 years, though, in this apartment now.
Well, what was it like back in the day, like growing up here and stuff?
Oh, man. Well, I'm 43, right? So, like, I was growing up in the peak of, like, post Bill 101 repercussions. Like, we were the generations that got really affected by that French first sort of approach. So there was a lot
What was
of...
Bill 101, just quickly?
Well, I hope I'm numbering it correctly, but the law that forces like French language as like again, don't quote me on that, but all the laws that come with the push for French in this province, right? Like that led to a mass exodus of major companies to Toronto. That's why Toronto is the burgeoning rich city that it is today in part. But also just, again, the politics of the time were really contentious. The referendum that was happening in 1995 also led to a lot of uncertainty for Anglophones. So the attitude of being in the Anglo bubble was that you had a fairly pessimistic view of the French, which has been mostly shed by me over as I've aged. You know, I do like French, you know. French girls are all right, you know, like I've changed. I've reformed my opinion, you know. But at the time growing up, it felt very much like, and again, I'm a white male living as a lingual minority or something. What a complex identity to have, you know. And I think that led to this idea that success was not available to us, you know. Like, had I grown up anywhere else, I'd probably be a very different, much more confident person.
Do you feel like success is still locked off to you because of the French language stuff?
Well, I mean, technically I am successful, but not in the most, like, exact measurement, you know, but, like, I have an okay paying job. I work in a domain that is related to what I studied. I could buy property if I wasn't an idiot buying junk, you know, and, yeah, I think...
I mean, are you happy?
No, I'll never be happy, Miguel, come on. Like, I am stable, you know, but happy is not an option. It's not an option.
You're one of the most pessimistic people I know.
Have you seen out there? It's not good.
You sound like a Jewish mother. Like,
Yeah,
have you seen outside?
Like, I felt the fish is awful. No, first of all, AI, right? Like, I know it's coming for me, right? So I'm worried about the decline that's going to come. Like, I'm worried about the day where I live in an apartment like this and you're my roommate. You know what I mean? Like, where this quadruples in price or something, and then this has to become another bed instead of what this is.
Do you think that's a real, like, that might actually happen?
I think so, yeah. I think it could get to such a point where, you know, what, are they going to stick me in a warehouse and do some lifting? Probably not. And then anything else, like, you think I can survive at a Tim Hortons pouring coffees? Like, it's not like I've been conditioned. I'm incapable of being a normal employee. Like, I've been spoiled for too long being a brainy type person, but it's just all fake. AI is coming for me.
You think?
Absolutely, man.
So what do you feel about it? Like, how do you feel about it in, like, the, I don't know, in the realm of art?
Oh man, so in the realm of art, like, there was a lot of people whining this year and last year about that, and I get it, but I don't think people understand. Like, I always use David Fincher as the example. Like, David Fincher is a great director, clearly has a way of making a particular type of film, but most of the work is done by other people. So a big part of being an artist is actually just being a visionary and being able to articulate a vision and use whatever tools of the time that are available to execute them. In the case of AI, there is the risk of leveraging or plagiarizing other people's art in the process, but it's not that dissimilar to someone, an art director, working on the next big game or movie, collecting a bunch of materials from the library, cutting them out, pasting them on the wall, showing their art team that and saying, do this! It's not that much different from doing that. The AI ethics becomes the concern where those who are in charge, kind of like the record companies, are great at sort of amassing control and power, making it worthless to everyday people from a making money standpoint, and them making money off it. So I get that. But as a tool for making art, I think it's actually highly relevant. I think it's scary though, because like I'm having that quandary right now with music. I refuse to use it in making music, yet I'm okay with using it in art. There's something about using it in music, because music is so emotive based, that it feels wrong still. So I see why people are upset about it in art. But what I find funny is all the people who shit on the art but then leverage the text all the time. It's like they forgot that writing is an art form too, you know. So there's this weird human centipede or a snake eating its tail thing going on, where people seem to think like AI is good in their use case but not other use cases, whereas I tend to think if you can deploy it and still produce something that is of your original output and stamp, then I think it's technically acceptable, and I think it's inevitable at the end of the day.
The thing is, with your example, is
Yeah.
those people, you know, the art director for a big game or whatever, that person's out of a job, and the entire art team is essentially out of a job.
So that's another thing where it's not necessarily exclusively the fault of the tech, right? Like, that becomes a fault of the economics behind it, right?
100%.
Like I'm against, for example, I'm against the idea of art making being too connected to financial gains. That I make music because I feel like I should and have to make music in theory. I would love to be rewarded for it, but that's where things start to get compromised, right? Look at all the creators on social media who are using algorithms and other data points to reshape what they actually produce. And what do they all do? Point at the text, do the talk to the camera bullshit, all that kind of stuff that just fucking sucks. And then they lose their personality and their integrity. Or they find one thing that makes them like that hook that they get, and then they become that one trick pony for the rest of their internet life, basically. So to me, art needs to be in some ways not incentivized financially, but then I'll contradict that and say that, oof, but it's great what someone can do when they're not trying to feed themselves with a shitty 9 to 5, right? Like, if you actually give someone the earmarked dollars to actually work on a project and don't try and be a producer and interfere with it, you can get some really good stuff. So I tend to look at it on a per case basis. That, you know, what was the question? I don't even fucking know.
No, we're just talking about AI and art.
So when you do graphics in advertising, which is what I do, to save money in some cases, you're not going to go to Africa and take a picture of a giraffe for your giraffe creative. You know, you're going to get a picture of a stock giraffe, integrate it into the visual you're working on, change the lighting, maybe add some shadows to it, do some other things to make it unique for that thing you're working on. And that's what AI is. I need a picture of a cat, give me one. When people are like, just make me a fucking poster, I don't care what it looks like, I get why people are up in arms about it. But also, some people see the purpose of a poster is to just quickly communicate what is an obvious value proposition. Comedy show, Why do I need to make it this fucking high art piece? I get it. I see both sides of the argument because I am forever Switzerland. I will never make it in prison because I can't choose a side.
I mean, I feel like you'd join the Latin Kings for sure.
Oh yeah, they would love to have me. They would love to have me for sure.
What is your background?
My dad is German, so that side is German. And
Like
then
from Germany, German.
Well, my grandma's from Germany. He was born here. I'm second gen. But he grew up speaking German, and he grew up being chastised for being German. My mom is also second gen, but she's Albanian. But the Albanian heritage that we come from were people who were Italian nationals. So I think they were like cousins or something
So
like that.
people who left Italy and went to Albania?
Yeah, and I don't know whether they left Albania, my grandparents. I'd have to ask. I'm not that interested. But I don't know if they left Albania and settled there, or they were like offspring of Albanians. Like I just don't know. Some town from in Italy called Ururi or something, and they were like cousins. And they all of them came over on boats like at separate intervals. I think my grandma and grandpa on my dad's side met on the boat, and they came here, bought a house for like $5,000. You know, like that's how
Jesus.
fucked we're getting. That's how fucked we're getting.
Yeah.
Like $5,000. And started a life here. And yeah, I don't identify strongly with maybe the German side a bit, just because of the I don't know,
Well, it's interesting that
craftsmanship thing or something like that. Like
it's just interesting that you said you weren't really interested.
so I never chose to identify with it. I remember my mom would be like talking like Albanian gibberish to my grandma sometimes, and they'd be like cutting up squids or some shit, and I was like, what is this?
What is this cartoon?
What is this peasantry? I was talking about my friend because I really want to do like a YouTube video about this setup, because I don't think people realize just how autistic this is. So like, you got to stand up for this.
Yeah.
So like, this setup is like, it's great. First of all, you got the electric desk situation here. So this kind of rises up for when I'm trying to do other things, and then that tucks nicely right under the table. That's all been thought out. Then you got like the oh, I know I need an extra laptop here, obviously, right? Like for all the times that like, I don't even know why I would need this here, right? But I mean, imagine trying to get into bed with me. And then here is the rig. I set this up during the pandemic because I was like, you know what? I'm tired of just doing it with software. I'm gonna build the most obnoxious rig. This started with like 4 guitar pedals on the floor, and it turned into this, and it just like sprouted out of the ground. And if you film here, look at the like the conduit of cables that it takes to power this thing and make it all run. And then it gets worse. Then there's like other modular, like, oh no, you don't have enough keyboards? There's another keyboard here, just in case you needed it. This is for when my friend visits. He'll sit here, and I basically put a gun to his head and make him play synth. And that's very nice. So that was this. This is my vocal booth. Like, you can move this out. I've never sang a song in my life, but I have it just in case I get a visitor. And then I got 3 guitars over here because it's great to have 3 guitars you don't play. That's not true. I every once in a while I'll play for like 3 months at a time, and I really like that. So I want to get this on wheels so that I can actually move this out of the way, because now you got to follow me this way. And then this is the real nerd collection, like a 43-year-old man with figurines. That's fucking sad. That's fucking sad. But this is great. This is the gaming figures. That's all the xenomorph garbage. Venom was the character I liked in comic books growing out. And then down there is a bunch of McFarlane horror monsters or whatever. Here's where I play vinyl, and it's funny because there's like controls on that system that I can't access when I'm stuck here because this is in the way. So I've set up this touch screen here that allows me to basically actually control certain features. Like I can bring up the mixer that allows me to control the entire room, and then I can basically switch that around. And it gets better. It gets better. You see this cable? These cables
absurd.
here? This is crazy
This
absurd.
is truly absurd.
This is crazy absurd. This series of 20 cables feeds throughout the house, and you can see here it continues here like a snake, and then feeds all the way over here, and then feeds to this terminal, which is actually just the same computer connected to the other room. So you're actually able to, in both rooms, play the same music, but it gets even better. This television can be replicated with the other TV in the other room. So if I'm cooking here, I can run back to the other room to get something, and the TV show is still playing there. It's like It's like the ultimate crib psychopath house. And I fucking love it, man. I just wish I had a proper basement to put most of this stuff in. I think it would. Yeah. And then what else? That's a chair that I never sit in. It's just there.
Think it's emblematic of something?
Yeah. It's kind of like I'll never actually have a comfortable spot to sit and enjoy a record because my room is basically too filled with stuff.
Do you ever feel like a little bit of cabin fever?
Oh yeah. I don't have a good answer for that other than like I like control. Like I like objects. I like storing things, and I like it's like an OCD thing. Like I come from a family of collectors. My grandma collected VHS. She used to have like literally backup VHS machines, and when I inherited them when she died, all the rubber bands inside that keep the things moving were decomposed. So even though she made all these efforts to have backups of stuff, it was all in vain basically. I feel like I'm carrying that torch. Like I got like backup CD players for my CDs that I'll never play because I just download MP3s anyways. It's awful, man.
Where do you see all of this stuff going when you die?
Oh man, like if it ends up at a fucking Renaissance, I'll be so fucking mad. Like I think I would donate. Like I'd probably have to get a will, but like I donate all my records to my record friend, and then I donate all my gear to my music friend, and just leave it at that. You know, like my family wouldn't want to sort it out, and like they'd be like, "What is this shit?" You know.
Nothing for the sisters?
Well, if they want something, they can ask for it. You know.
Do you get along with them?
Yeah, I love my sisters. They're fine. Yeah. All right. They were the waitresses at the Peel Pub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They seem very nice.
Yeah, they're okay.
They're okay?
Yeah.